Hey, WokeNFree Nation. Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice.
For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening.
You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science to Bitcoin, or even one of your favorite celebrities. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud.
And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, WokeNFree, is there too.
Now let's get into the episode. Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 307th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are discussing something deeply important, which impacts every household. Actors and writers are on strike. What does this mean for your favorite shows and movies, really? So before we dive deep into all of that, we have a couple of things to go over. So first, we really want you to not only go to WokeNFree.com to listen to this episode, but what would be really fantastic if you go to WokeNFree.com and you download the episode through the Podbean app, because if you download it, then you can tell us all your thoughts about the strike, whether it's the writer's strike, the actor's strike, both of them, wherever you sit on the matter. You don't have to agree with us. We just want to know what you're thinking and how it's making you feel and all of that. So please do that. Now, if you listen to podcasts on a device where, say, you're like, I can't get another app on my phone or on my tablet, fill in the blank. That's like a little bit sad, but fret not. You still can support the show. So please go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, and then pick your platform of choice where you're going to follow and subscribe to WokeNFree. So you'll find us on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. It's a WokeNFree world where most podcasts are consumed. You will find this show. So definitely really appreciate that support. Now, on WokeNFree.com, you also can click to subscribe to follow the show through the Podbean app. And on social media, would love your support on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokeNFree. And lastly, if you have 90 seconds, which is more of a statement, less of a question, because you know you do, we would love for you to review the show. So how do you do that? Go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, and then pick your platform of choice where you will give us your review. And thank you in advance for the 5-star ratings. Love it.
I know you like those ratings.
I do. They make me happy.
I hope so. It should also make you happy when we get to talk about ourselves before starting the conversation.
This narcissistic moment is more about you than me. So.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. A series of unfortunate events is what I'd like to call that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. This week.
Based on some type of book, I imagine, right?
Just based on the scenario that's playing out right now.
Gotcha.
This week we are asking, would you rather have 10,000 rats or 4 lions defend you?
You're a sick person in the mind.
This is a great question.
I mean, you know how I feel about rodents. I mean, to even bring it up in mixed company is really, and we're the mixed company. So
the weird thing is, I mean, I'm not sure. I thought we may have asked this question. But
I
I'm
thought
not sure
so as well. Yeah,
but I couldn't find where we've asked it, so I asked it.
So you brought it back up, just 2023.
But I'm not
rendition.
Because I don't know. I mean, if
maybe it was just in your mind.
If the WokeNFree Nation knows, if we've asked it before, let us know the episode number. But I'm not sure, to be honest. It seemed very familiar.
So
let's see how you answer.
Throwback.
Yeah,
but potential throwback.
But if it did happen, I remember you weren't afraid of the rats at that point. In terms of you didn't make a comment about being scared of them.
Oh, interesting.
If we did have this question, or if I'm just making up.
No, you mustn't have been making it, because I've always been terrified of rodents. Really, I mean, other than gerbils and guinea pigs, I really like those, and hamsters. I like those, but any other rodent terrifies me.
Oh.
And mice,
I know you're scared of them, but I just think you didn't make a comment about it.
Okay.
If this question was asked, you didn't make a comment about it.
Weird. Okay.
But maybe it wasn't asked that. I don't know.
No, maybe, or maybe I just was in a
remember.
different mood. As we get older, we
okay.
just get more freer with our thoughts in it.
Okay.
So maybe I've just been being more the woken free and embracing that free part.
Yeah,
a bit
maybe.
more as I've gotten older. But my answer to this is definitely Four Lions. I mean, do I believe Four Lions would stay loyal to me and just defend me and not turn around and eat me? Probably not. But nonetheless, I will take my chance with lions than I would with rats. So I
But you're
want
looking.
Four Lions to
See,
defend me.
this is why we ask these questions, because look how you looked at this question to say, are the lions going to turn on
me.
you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not really what the question is about.
I know, but that's where my mind went.
Of course you went towards that. Which one's most likely to betray you? I mean,
Yes.
you're saying the lions is probably going to do it, but you're terrified of rats, so you got to go lions.
Go with
But because how I think of it is, which is the best to actually defend you? Like literally, which
I know,
one
but
is
you
the
also
best?
have to think about the defense and what happens when it turns on you.
You can't think of that. You
Because
gotta.
that's what life is. It's
No,
always
but it's-
like
the
support,
life is-
but then it's also like stab in the back.
But that's the secret. If you think it's going to turn on you, of course they are.
I don't think it's going to turn on me, but what I'm saying is,
'Cause the
what
whole
would
point-
you be willing to deal with if it did happen? I don't think so.
Wow, I mean, so even coming from that point of view, I'd rather have the lions turn on me than the rats. The rats are going to be a painful
That's
death.
what I'm saying. I would rather deal with the lions.
Oh, you're saying okay. So
That's
you're
what I'm
thinking
saying.
from
I
that
don't
point of
want
view.
to. Yeah, like.
Oh, okay.
I'll
but
take my
that's
chances with 4 lions than I would rats.
Again,
Especially 10,000.
I'm just really thinking about what the question is
But
asking.
to answer the question, what do I want defending me? I want regal lions. They're beautiful.
you want that.
And they're wonderful, and it makes me think of whatever ancestor I'm related to, and ancient Egypt and Africa and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm just thinking practically. The 10,000 rats is definitely taking them over to lions, because the 4 lions. What if they get taken? What if 3 get taken out? You only have 1 lion left. I mean that
Sometimes
it's
you
not.
just need one.
That's not the best. They're not the
Defense
best.
system? Okay.
Yeah, the better defense system is 10,000. I mean,
Where are you storing them?
They can walk behind you and they can become like a person if they all bundle together, like I don't know what they call that, a bunch of rats together, a horde, whatever it's called. But they could make a real
Like a Walking Dead situation.
it could be a real destruction thing, and they can climb
Creepy.
walls and stuff that you can get them anywhere. So like, let's say
Brutal.
someone
Brutal.
attacked you and they try to run away, you can catch them. The lions, not so much. The lions
really
you can get
just want
stuck.
to scare me.
No, but I'm saying the rats are like you're a master if you have 10,000 rats that you can control. Like you can really
You took
some
this
dirt.
from that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle TV show that we're watching on Netflix.
I didn't take
KJ.
this from anywhere.
And
I didn't
then there
make
was
this
the
up.
Rat Creed. He was the Rat Man, and he
You're
was,
messing. So you're really like destroying the namesake of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's nothing like you were claiming.
You
right
don't
now.
remember that episode with the
What
man
episode?
and he had the rats? And they were coming and they all were like running and around in a room.
You watch the new ones. I don't know anything about the new ones. I
There's
only
a
watch the
new
old ones.
episode where there's a man who controls these rats. And
Oh, I didn't know
why
that.
thought,
That's something. Were they rats or metal rats?
Nope, they're rats. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of that. That's something. That's something
okay.
from
I
the new
thought
one.
you were watching the episode when that was.
No, this
cool.
question came not from there. It came from
Okay.
another source. But
Nice.
I think the 10,000 rats that's what
Creepy.
you go with for defense.
Sounds about right for you though. Yeah.
But you got to worry. What if those 10? It's almost like what you say. Maybe they don't turn on you, but what if they strike on you and don't want to
Creepy.
work anymore?
Creepy.
Just imagine that.
With little picket signs too.
I mean, they could. You didn't give them enough cheese.
No, not enough
More cheese. Yeah.
We want cheese.
They could do that, right?
Give me the cheese. Yeah.
It's just that's what happens. Life is hard for these people that aren't being treated right.
Hey.
And the rats, they may not be people, but they are animals. But speaking of that, first we have the Writers Guild of America West, known as WGA. Now we have the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, on strike. Could you explain what's going on with Hollywood, specifically the actors and writers? Why are they striking?
Yeah, so glad to talk about this because as y'all know, WokeNFree Nation, we are fans of tons and tons of film and TV shows. So we take this with great pride to, speak on this because this is an important moment in history, but it's also an important moment for content creators and consumers. And according to Independent, SAG-AFTRA announced that essentially with both the actors and the screenwriters going on strike simultaneously, this, for the first time, this hasn't happened since 1960. So we're living in unprecedented times, really. And essentially in the article on Independent, they claim that This strike was caused by a perfect storm of streaming dominance, which led to the erosion of residual pay and the advent of AI in the industry, AI being artificial intelligence. And, you know, even though, yes, we still live in a world where we have top actors that are multi-millionaires, most SAG AFTRA members are barely getting by, which I think is a misnomer for most Americans to not, they think like, oh, you're an actor or, you know, and they see you on TV that you're somehow automatically rich. That's actually not the case. And that most of them, again, are just getting by. And for them to be a part of this union, they have to make $26,000 a year in acting. That just barely qualifies them for health insurance. And a lot of them, like, that's a struggle.
It's not their income in general. You're saying just from they have to show that was from acting. They earned that.
For them
you
to
can't
be
just
be
be like
of it
they had a different job that earned. I didn't realize. Yeah. So that's what I was wondering what that was. Okay,
$26,000 a year from acting.
Now that makes sense.
And that's actually harder than I think people think, especially if you aren't paying attention to like social media. Now there's a lot of content out where people are showing what their residual earnings are, and it's disgraceful. I mean, people making pittance really, and not like, oh, like 25,000. No, like $25, like not a good amount of money. And also in the article, they go on to say that Hollywood has increasingly adopted this so-called mini rooms, where short-term writer rooms include staff for only work on production for a short period rather than a whole season. So kind of cutting down the time and the earning opportunity for writers, which is not a great thing, because again, getting a writing gig in Hollywood is not so easy. And so when you do it and you don't even get the guarantee to be able to write for the full season of a show, but only like these short periods or these like mini rooms, that's not really helpful.
And consumers, they see the byproduct of that, because these shows start to really change after 3 seasons or so, where you just wonder how they ended there. And that kind of explains that, right?
Exactly. And so, you know, this strike essentially is speaking to the fact that the actors and the writers of our industry are fed up and they're tired, and they need to be able to be paid appropriately for their work, that they need to be able to not have, just because we're now in a new era of streaming services, that doesn't mean that we have to get rid of the financial opportunities and long-term living conditions of our actors and writers. So a lot to be said there. I'm going to pause there for you to chime in and kind of share what are some of the things that you've seen going on with this strike for both communities.
Yeah, well, according to The Guardian, the actors, they also, you discussed it a bit, but they wanted to discuss who owns the actor's likeness if it's produced by AI specifically, because at this point, I think the studios want to take ownership, and if they have ownership of the actor's likeness, why do they need the actor? What would happen to the actor? Do they get their residuals? See, this is still in question. This is being kind of fought over right now, and it's I don't think it's a great question. I think I know the answer to it. Yeah. It's just the studios playing around, but I think the actors should own the likeness.
It's their likeness, it seems, and that's legally been already argued in court. I mean,
because the same thing when we watch any of this content, that's a likeness. That's not literally the actor in front of us, right?
Exactly.
So what's the difference between an AI generated version and the one our TV generates?
Because it's based off a real person, and so that person owns the likeness of themselves.
Yeah,
and also,
it's already being generated.
Any business owner that were to go around and take the image of a celebrity or actor and then advertise
put words behind it or something,
they would
that
owe
still
that
counts
actor
again.
money. So I don't see how AI is any different.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a hard question,
but it's a new space, and there's new
it.
opportunity for legislative doctrine and regulation that's needed. But to the actor's point, they need this to be clarified in their contracts. They need to be able to it needs to be verifiable truth that they will get paid for when they're acting or when AI generated images from them are being utilized in content.
And then to go into the residuals issue, is the actors, they were demanding it partially based on the viewership levels on streaming services. They wanted to be compensated based on that, but the studios, which include the streamers, Netflix and Amazon alongside Disney, they're not willing to share that information, so it makes it hard for actors to know what they should be fairly compensated if they don't even know what the viewership levels are. That's a tightly held secret.
That's
a big discussion there. And then in terms of the writers now, they're in a similar boat as the actors. As told by the Vulture, the Writers Guild of America, they went on strike May 2nd, 2023. And that was actually 2 months before the SAG strike went through. And a report released by the WGA states that on TV staffs, more writers are working at a minimum, regardless of experience, often for fewer weeks, or as you were discussing, in mini rooms. And that doesn't seem right. Like, if you have more experience, you would think you would get paid more, right? I mean, that's kind of messed up. And then, while series budgets have soared over the past decade, median writer-producer pay has actually fallen. Which is interesting. Why is it going down?
That makes
That's
no
not
sense.
great.
Just for more profit, I guess.
Yeah, we know why it is, but it's not right. And then screen pay, that's for like films, that has declined by 14% in the last 5 years.
Which makes
for writers.
no sense because those budgets for films have
They're
soared
skyrocketed
in the last 5 years, or 10 years, really. I mean,
And just, I saw an article where Fran Drescher, she was speaking, and I'm not going to quote her directly, but she also mentioned it doesn't make sense because these studio execs, they're sitting up there getting paid millions in bonuses, and then they're saying, oh, we don't have enough to pay writers. But wait, why did you have the millions? That millions couldn't have been broken up and paid down to people who got the work done for you?
Because people, that's the problem with this industry.
Because I think that's the real issue,
Yeah,
right?
these executives are well paid, but the problem is people are consuming the content not because of the executives, but because of the actors and the writers who are giving their all into this content that we deeply love and appreciate. I mean, film and television is fundamental. I mean, it saves lives. It changes lives. How can we not give the flowers to who deserves them? I mean,
and we're not even trying to say let's make them like sports superstars, right? We're just trying to say pay them fairly.
Yeah, they need to be paid fairly
where they can live,
and
right?
to say that the
first step is pay them so they can live and they don't need an extra job.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Where they can
that's
make
the first
acting
step.
And writing their main gig, and that it's easily affordable for them to get their health insurance.
Yeah, all that should
rent,
be there.
Pay for food, like livability.
But now the second step is if they're part of a super successful work, they should really see that too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That should come the next thing.
This to me seems very parallel to the music industry issues, right? Where all these artists, after all these years, we find out you see them on tour, and the only time they're apparently getting paid is when they're on tour, and everything else, their albums, nothing. They get like $5. It's like horrid. They
get a sign-on bonus, and then they get nothing for the music.
Yeah,
and they got to go make the money on their own.
Yeah, and then they got to go do all these like
money.
Really aggressive tours to be able to just afford life, and I think this is a reckoning that is needed for all entertainment industry, that we need to take a step back and.
But not sports though.
Well,
sports has already had its reckoning. I mean, I know they strike sometimes as well, but most of them are being well paid. And when I say well paid, they don't need a second job to live like that.
Yes,
there's no sports.
But there is still
no
disparity between male and female
that's
athletes.
Something else. Yeah,
right?
that's not
that's
great.
Still
But I would just
a thing.
Because I would just say of all the strikes that those sports people had, at least I don't know when it happened, but they were never. It wasn't at issue that they were being paid like pittance.
Yeah,
It was always at issue. Can we get
there's still
like
also
millions
a disparity
instead?
between the top
athletes
versus just kind of the people we see on the bench. And I mean, yes,
bench warmers can get a quarter mil.
They can be 6-figure earners, but there's still a grave
we can't even say that in this writers and actors.
There are actors who are making millions of dollars, and then there are actors who are making less than $26,000. So that's
and there's a ton of those actors that we don't really know about,
absolutely.
right? But if you make less than 26, I guess you can't even be a part of this.
Yeah, you can't even
group.
be a part of the union. You can't even be getting health insurance. So there's a lot of challenge here.
Definitely.
Interesting. All right. Well, then with the actors on strike, with the writers on strike, what does this mean for, we're going to focus the conversation on television shows, but, parentheses, keep in your mind, y'all, it's also impacting film as well.
Yeah. So, Entertainment Weekly, they were really good because I'm not going to list all the shows that they talked about.
Okay.
I'm going to list some ones that are up there, and I think it'll be important for people to know. So, the first thing they were talking about, and people got to think about, is that if you watch those late night shows, those are going to stop first because the writers they're on a tight schedules.
Oh wow!
So
That's
your Who is it? You're like
All
late
the
night,
late night,
all
yeah.
any of the late night
Wow,
shows
that's
that have
incredible.
late at night. Those
I'm not a
things
fan
are
of
gonna.
a lot of those, though, so I know that's sad
Yeah,
for some people.
but there's some people that watch
curious
those religiously.
Well, then what happens to all those advertising spots that they've sold out and people, like, those shows still have to go because people paid to be
Well, you know what they're doing? They're going to be, so according to this, they're
re-airing.
reruns. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's all reruns and stuff. So
But what about new
it's what we
advertising?
hear.
They're going to put new ads onto those old reruns?
I'm not sure how their advertising
Yeah.
contracts are, but well, the ads are they're separate from the show, right? The show is it's not a. It used to be
Okay.
cassette tapes, like they used to literally have like ad cassette and then then the show.
show.
But now it's
Yeah.
it's digital, so they they have the
can
show
overlay,
and then
yeah.
the ads come separately, and they can just put it how they want. They can switch them out
That's
easily.
nuts.
But either way, it's just going to be reruns. And
See, that's a shame too,
just
because they could
hurts.
open up those spots to like new content creators who are open to,
Well, I guess you're talking about like what YouTube content creators.
Yeah,
stuff,
exactly. Like
a different
creating
level.
new-
You're gonna put a different. You got to be careful because you got to vet that, right? Because sometimes people say
course.
things that throw your advertisers off, and then you
course.
lose your advertising.
But it just, to me,
there's
it
a lot of
seems
work
like
for
an
that.
interesting opportunity to be able to explore
And then also-
new content that hasn't
So
would
you-
never be considered.
So no, I didn't look at, but I don't know if it would be at issue for them. Like, is there something in their contract where they can't do that?
Probably.
Like,
yeah.
you can't, because it's kind of like, if they can just replace you, then what's the point of a union? Like, how does the union help?
Listen,
I think they have certain contracts
Of
where it's like,
course.
even
They
if we
have
do
to
strike,
play
you can't just
yeah.
replace us with somebody else, because then otherwise you don't need the union, because they're just getting rid of you anyway. So there might be that also at play.
Yeah.
So what? And then an actual show, Saturday Night Live, they canceled it for Pete Davidson.
Oh, wow.
And they're gonna start running old shows of that as well. I guess because of this writer's strike.
Wow.
And for most network TV shows, you're going to be okay because they've wrapped up production for the summer and they're already on hiatus, so you'll be lucky. But Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, which was in production for season 3, that's been shut down.
Oh.
So if you're
to the writers' room. Okay.
Yeah. And the next thing is that for people that are watching shows from streamers, those tend to produce their shows way ahead of schedule, so they'll likely have plenty of episodes for people to watch, so no need to worry about your favorite streaming shows. But Cobra Kai, the co-creator John Hurwitz, he tweeted that the series was shut down in its season 6 writers' room less than a month after writers returned to work.
I was wondering when the new season was coming out on that, so that's
So
depressing.
that's going to be down.
Yeah.
And another big one that people are going to have to worry about is Stranger Things. Creators Matt and Ross Duffer said the 5th and final season of their Netflix sci-fi hit is definitely going to be impacted
I heard
by
that
this writer's strike.
it's going to take, like, I think it's not going to come out till 2026 or 2027, something
Wow.
like a far,
Wow, yeah,
like
they really
further
put their-
timeline than between 3 and 4 than 4 and 5. Like,
They don't play around with
Well, those
filming
shows
that,
are
right?
so, I mean, they're so elaborate too. So
Yeah, I guess that's
don't
why they want to get it
have-
right. Because you know, another thing that
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
when I was just doing the research on this is that these writers, it's not like they just write something and then when they start filming, the writers are off. The writers are there when they're filming.
Oh, yeah, because
so
they have
gotta
to
like
change
tweak and
things
say,
and-
okay,
oh,
let's
gosh.
change this.
It's a
So, yeah,
collaboration.
it's
these
collaborative.
people
Yeah.
are the reason why these shows are so beloved and these programs are so beloved. That's why it doesn't make sense not to treat. You know what it is? It's similar, very similar in vein to our educational system, right? Who's the least paid in the school system? The teachers. And it's like they're the baseline of how our students grow and develop. And you don't want to pay these people? Oh,
But some of
okay.
those school administrators get paid really well.
Of course, and the teachers make
Pins.
like ham and cheese sandwiches.
Yeah,
And
they
it's-
give them that, yeah.
and it's like,
But sometimes they got to buy their own supplies too.
including their own apples, yeah. And,
But I'm saying they have to buy their own chalk or whatever.
course.
I mean,
and
whatever they use.
It doesn't make any sense. This is how
Whatever
you feel
supplies,
about
they
the
gotta
people
buy
who are
notebooks and
responsible
everything.
for educating your children. It makes no sense. It's illogical.
Yeah, it's insane when you think about it.
Yeah, it's completely upsetting.
So the last things to talk about are reality shows, entertainment news, sports, and daytime talk.
Okay.
Those aren't subject to the WGA agreement,
Got
and
this
they'll be
thing,
unaffected
yeah.
by the strike. So,
Young and Restless continues to thrive. I like it.
and you're really happy about sports, right? Slam dunk. You don't got to worry that
Slam dunk.
hole in one. Now you don't have to pray that things bad
Run
happen.
to the end zone.
15 love. You're doing well.
Lovely. You really are trying to get a good viral moment.
You're
out
gonna
of
be
this
great.
episode.
I just want to make sure you're okay though with
Out
your
of
sports.
all of that all at once too.
Yeah.
Like just run around in a circle.
All of it's great.
Just
I mean,
do it all at once. Tennis, football.
Hat trick.
Hat trick?
Hat trick. Hat trick.
Who says that?
That's what you can do in, well, technically you can do it in soccer, but you also can do it in hockey.
Oh.
Yeah, so you could do that.
You're doing a full Monty, full circle, 360. I gotcha.
I mean, I could say touchdown, I guess. Though there's a lot more we said there, but either way, you're okay. The one major exception is for the daytime space is the show called The Talk. I don't know much about that show, but if you watch that, then sorry, guys.
Not a fan of that, but
you know what that is, though. The Talk is.
Yeah,
okay, I'm not sure what that
but
is.
The View is, I think, probably more consumed. So as long as
I didn't hear. At least according to this article, they didn't mention The View being at issue. So.
All right. Well, Whoopi's on The View, though, so I'm sure she will have thoughts on this and maybe have to strike, too. Who knows?
Really? Even though they're not subject to the agreement?
Well, but she's a person who does film, right? And
yeah, for her other works, but The View specifically, I think, is not a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, also there's some additional information around the strikes and kind of the contract issues going on WDSU.com. So if you're new to WokeNFree, welcome. But all of our links you'll be able to find in the episode notes, so make sure you check that out. And then ultimately, what would you say, given as a consumer of this content, what do you think is the ideal resolution? Is there a resolution? What's going to come of this?
Well, we know there's a resolution because these things never last forever, no matter what they are.
Sure.
Like someone's going to have to give in because people are losing money and people are losing their livelihood. So no matter what, this will resolve itself. The key question is when. And the sooner, the better. That's ideal for everybody, right? Yeah. We just really need to get this hammered out because people need to be able to feed themselves and pay their bills. Yeah. And this is that's just not right what's going on. So ideally, the studio and the production companies would just pay their writers and actors, right? That's just ideal. Just pay them, and maybe your bonus. You can't fill up your yacht this year. I don't know.
I knew you were about to say that too.
I always go to that because
that is like your thing.
It's the only thing I can think about where you don't really need to do it. It's just kind of like.
So when you get a yacht, then I'm going to say, "Oh, Khalil, you don't need to fill it up."
Yeah, I'll fill the jet up instead, right?
Smart.
You go for the G5. You don't need that 100-foot yacht to be filled.
Get it.
That's a luxury. That's fun. But the jet makes sense because you got to get places. You can't take commercial flights. Are you kidding me?
Of course
not. A top studio exec.
Yep.
How dare they spend their life like that?
Absolutely.
But I'm just saying they got to take some cuts, right? How come I don't understand why the top doesn't want to take a few cuts?
Shopping at Costco for them.
They probably do that already, though. That's what's funny. They shop at Costco. They still want their $1 million bonus.
That's fancy muffins. I hear you.
But that's what we need to do because the money is there. That's the thing. It's not like the money's not there. So let's take that money. Let's redistribute it. And just make sense over things like control over the AI doppelgangers. There's no point for you studios to take control of that. Not yet. If you make an AI that is the actor and is the writer, that can be your own. But if it's based off of someone,
give people ideas.
Don't do it. Yeah, I mean,
feel like we don't have to take there. We'll just create our own.
Yeah, if you create your own actors and writers. And it's going to be complete garbage that you create them.
Hello, Terminator.
But right now the AI is not. It's garbage. Yeah, if you did that, you're going to just have junk.
Okay, well, I agree. I would say the only thing I would add, a couple of things. First is this is definitely, to your point, going to be solved by contractual changes. So they absolutely will need to pay more of the pie to the actors and to the writers. But to your point, we don't want to see an increase in streaming service costs we don't want to see the outlay of costs put onto the consumer here, right? Because there's already enough money in the pot being made from these that doesn't need to we don't have to, as consumers, bear the costs more to this because people are out here. You got Netflix, you got your Hulu, you got your Disney Plus, you got your Paramount Plus. It's getting a little bit wild. So wait a minute. Enough is enough. So let's BET Plus. There's a lot of content out here.
A ton of them. Yeah. HBO Max.
HBO. And Stars and just doing the
Cinemax.
Most. Doing the most. Everyone. So wait a minute. But what I would say is you're gonna have to think about it creatively, right? So with streaming, is it that these shows and film, to your point, having more transparency around the viewership equate to there's going to be benchmarks. So like if this show hits X amount of views, this enters this amount of money that is then distributed as a pot through all people a part of it. Like they're going to have to get very specific as to how the money gets, because you can't just say pay them more, right? Because we're talking hundreds of people per production, per like.
Well, it's going to be kind of like Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Spotify pays the artist
like X amount per.
0.1 billionth of a percent, right?
So we're saying that everyone's going to get 5 cents more
per
but
stream.
At least they got their 5
but
cents.
I'm just saying that's their calculation. But the calculation could be could be 1 cent per stream, or something like that. So if you get one viewer, the actor gets 1 penny. If you get 10 viewers, they get 10 pennies.
So they're just going to watch their own shows like 1,000 times a day.
This is residuals, cash. Though. These are residuals. And they get paid a normal wage for the show per episode, but then after that, for streaming it, they get paid the 1 penny. I mean, but if they
that's already happening. That's the problem. We need more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the numbers. I'm just saying this. Well, I'm completely off.
So
right?
we want to increase current ranges for their participation in production for film and television. But then, we're going to have to look at what the streaming
residuals is hard. I can't
look like,
because I don't know what the viewership is, right?
Well, yeah, and
because what if the viewership is only 10,000 people for a show? What happens then? I mean,
well, when Netflix purports that like this is the most watched show, like all those people in that production should be getting more than 7 cents, right? Like that should be.
You're saying that, but how many people are in production?
It's that's what I'm saying.
And
this
then
is
by episode,
it's going to get complicated. It's going to get very, very complicated.
It's a little iffy. It's hard because,
but nonetheless, we have to look at we have to have the numbers to be able to make the appropriate determinations and equitable decisions. But hopefully, there's more money that can be made. And what instead of going on strike, what also could be helpful is looking at these numbers on a frequent basis, right? Like that even when the new contracts are set, doesn't mean that it has to be in perpetuity, right? Let's make a contract and every year, every 2 years, it's re-examined and numbers increase as cost of living increase, as streaming
Wow, you'd want to do a yearly negotiation.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's kind of like when teachers at the in colleges, they have their contracts looked at every single year, and like I mean, you're part of an industry.
Even if you have tenure, you have to look at it every single year. I thought you just worked there in
as an adjunct, I would say our contracts were set every new semester.
When you get tenure, you just laugh at people, right?
Yeah, but we at the end of the day, equity changes per year, per quarter, per month, because life changes. Life be lifing. So we have to make sure that we're equitably taking care of the people who matter the most to us, and those are the creators giving us the content. I mean, how many of us can name a movie or a TV show that has stayed with us, that will live with us? When I die, I will remember not every conversation I have, but I bet you I'll remember Dawson's Creek. I bet you I'll remember Resident Evil. I bet you there's a lot of content that I will be happily thinking about on my deathbed.
Won't you remember books as well, though?
Of course.
See?
As authors need to be paid well as well, and that's
a whole, that's
equitable payment is needed in every industry, in every stance. If someone has done something, a body of work should be equitably paid for, regardless of the content, how it's consumed. Like, people have got to be paid for the work they're doing. So with that, we stand with y'all. We hope that this strike ends both for the writers and the actors sooner rather than later, and that folks get what they need, because I know that I deeply have appreciated, and I have not had a lot of friends in my life, but I have cherished the films and the TV shows that I hold near and dear to my heart. So I feel for them. I really do.
And hopefully everybody's happy with the outcome with no complaints.
Well, that there's always opportunity for growth and improvement, but that we get to a space of like goodness, and that people are like, oh, okay.
I just don't want people to hold grudges and say we're going to make the content worse because we didn't get exactly what we want.
We don't want that. We still want good content, y'all. But let's just keep looking. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep making what matters most.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time. Scenario 1. Rennie runs a small upcoming streaming network and is trying to grow the user base as fast as possible to make the network profitable. She has a reasonable budget to produce an exclusive miniseries. Should she pay the actors and writers well, or invest more money in other activities such as promoting the series and increasing the performance of the network?
Oh, that's a hard one. But I stand by my statement as content creators ourselves. It's important to be paid a livable wage for the work that you're doing, because it takes your heart, it takes everything out of you to create good content. And if you're in a position where you're thinking through, how do I, do I invest in my team, or do I invest in the promotion of my work? At the end of the day, if you build it, they will come, right? And so if she is able to invest in her team, then they can produce better content, because people will feel good about the wages they're making. So they're going to put more energy and effort behind it, which then in turn hopefully can make up for the fact that she didn't get to spend more in marketing and stuff like that. So I vote spend it on the actors, on the team, the people creating the content.
And I actually agree with you. And it's partially for what you said, that that paying them well will help them make better content. I agree with that part. But the reason I think they'll make better content is because they won't have to fret over paying certain bills, compared to if they don't get paid. They might have to figure out how to make their ends meet, and they might have to get an extra job. Like a lot of these actors do that. That's Absolutely. Not like, even I read another article about some people on Orange Is the New Black. They had jobs. Like a lot of those people on the show, like it's even some of the bigger names had to get jobs because they weren't being paid enough. So. If you're not being paid enough and you have a second job, are you really going to be making the best content you can?
No.
I mean, technically you're not, right?
You're a little bit.
Because how are you making those hours work, right? How much sleep are you getting?
Only 24 hours in a day.
You're trying to remember stuff.
Doesn't change.
And then it can also mess with even the production. Like if it takes them longer to get their lines right and things like that. So
sure, that's a good point.
You're better off just paying them well and
letting them just focus on the good content creation.
So making sure they can live. You don't have to pay them the superstar budget, but pay them something that they can live with and feel comfortable with. Good. And they can get the filet mignon sometimes, right?
You're a mess.
You gotta sometimes be able to get that good food sometimes.
Get that nice Cajun ribeye steak with mashed potatoes.
Okay, so you added too much. There's too much there.
Cajun batter.
And a cup of water.
Absolutely not. 4 glasses of wine, thank you very much.
So, the water is...
Add a wine cooler in that, John.
The cup of water will be provided free of charge.
Lovely.
Yes. Scenario 2. Rhea is a mega fan who collects all the memorabilia of her favorite show. She even rents some storage space to store all she has collected over the years. She found out that the writer's strike has delayed production of the next season. Should she try to write a few episodes and send it to the production staff to help get the show started?
What is wrong with you? Khalil.
Well, you know people have gotten that idea. You know there's some people out there that have thought
people?
Go on the Twitterverse, probably. Go there or go to the Threadverse and see what people have said. Or is it Thread or Threads?
Threads.
It's Threads. Go to the Threadsverse and see what's happening there. Don't go to Blue Skyverse, because I think that's invite only. But go check out your Threads, your Twitters, and see if there's got to be somebody. I bet you this is a real scenario.
You think someone's going to open that? You're going to think it's anthrax.
I didn't say that. I'm saying
Burn it alive.
I'm saying that there are some fans out there that are probably thinking, I can write this show myself.
The show's not going to be on. I should write the next scenes.
Yeah. I can write it. I'm such a big fan. I know it's going to happen.
I bet you do.
You know that. If you're a super fan, this is how you start to go. If you really get it into your mind. You may think you are on the production staff. That's how big of a fan you are.
At first I thought you were mocking me in this one, and then you took it a whole left field.
Oh. No, I mean, not at all. Because you don't have the memorabilia of your favorite shows.
Some, but not an extensive amount.
Not even close to... Yeah. Did you rent storage space?
Well, no, I would never do something like that. No.
So you can't even, see all the memorabilia you have. It's just... I mean, that's a lot, right?
Doing the most, yeah. But, this is interesting. So as a content creator, I advocate for people to develop content that is near and dear to their heart, that they're passionate about. And in this scenario, it sounds like Rhea is deeply passionate about this show. And who am I to say that she shouldn't create content around her show? And if she feels so compelled and is like, listen, this show stopping is like end of her world. She can't bear it. She wants to, you know, keep it going, even if they never open this and she feels good about just writing this content.
They never open it.
Because like I said, people think they're going to think it's anthrax. So
you write on it, no chemicals.
Not anthrax, yeah.
No, this will not harm you. You could say that too.
It's less scary when you open it. Yep.
Yeah, see? You have all this stuff you can write on it. You can have a pamphlet that comes with it that tells you all about what's in there.
Exactly.
You could have that.
Exactly. So I think Rhea should write it, and just as long as she doesn't get disappointed if no one opens it, that she should go forth and do what her heart compels her to do.
Okay, so this is interesting because I looked up just in case the people were doing this, but I know that there's a ton of, I already knew this before, but you know, there's a ton of people that just do fan fiction. They write that. Yeah. But what I looked up is, you know, technically that stuff is illegal in a lot of cases because the work is, just because of copyright. You're not supposed to use the name or likeness of characters within the copyrighted works.
That's an interesting
So you got to be very careful with the fan fiction. A lot of it is illegal, so
even if you submit it for review or it's still
it all depends what you're trying to do with it. That's the thing.
But if she were to like sell that as a mini book on
if you sold it, you're definitely done for, right? Yeah, gotcha. If you sent it to them and maybe if you're trying to broach them and saying, "Hey, I'm trying to join," you know, that kind of thing.
But not for sale.
They can't really
redistribution
because all they would even be able to do is to say cease and desist, right? And it's like, okay, I just sent you a thing, then I can just not send it to anybody else. They can do that, but. If you try to sell it, you're going to be in trouble. Don't sell it with asking them. But what I found out is that there's like a site where you can find out about works that want people to create fan fiction. So
that's cool.
Maybe if you go to a site that says, hey, you know, this thing is allowed, then I think you could go ahead and write some of your episodes there. But if not, I would tell her just be careful because you might get in trouble and they might think you're trying to sell your work. It could just get a little dicey. But if you write it and you just keep it in your heart, I think that's nice too.
If you write it and keep it in your heart. Oh, God, help me.
There's alternatives, right? That's what I'll say.
I would have in 1,000 years never thought that phrase would come out of your mouth. If you write it and keep it in your heart. What is this, a love sonnet club? You are a mess. Oh my God, that's amazing.
This is what I try to do.
That is amazing. One of the most heartless people I know had the nerve to say write something and keep it in your heart.
Yeah.
Is this a program named Heart?
No, I mean, I don't know what it's called.
Exactly. Heartless.
Heartfelt Lovers?
Excuse
me. I forgot what it's called.
Keep it PG, please. Por favor.
No, I was trying to think of the shows that you like, but I forgot now.
Dawson's Creek, Vampire Diaries, the originals.
No, it was a show with heart in the name, of course.
Oh, you're talking about the Star-Crossed Lovers show Star-Crossed or whatever.
Nah, I thought there was another show. Like it might have been a movie actually, though. Heart.
The Fault in Our Stars. That one. Oh God.
Yeah, but shouldn't it be called The Fault in Our Hearts? Maybe because then that matches the scenario.
Well, that just sounds cruel, though.
Yeah, it actually does.
It sounds really cruel. So
that's why they built that.
Actually, yeah.
Oh wow, that could be an anime series.
Hey.
See,
and I can imagine people with pulling out knives out of their metal hearts and stabbing people to death.
It shouldn't even be that. It could just be like Iron Man. They have to have this magnet near their heart, or else they die.
Fun.
It could just be something like that.
Excellent work.
Because all of them have faults in their hearts.
You just given away all these good.
But I mean, I took that from I seen that in the movie. I mean, but I guess technically, anybody could write. They could write a whole series based off of that.
And then someone has a glove with all the rings in it. It's a magnet magnetizes.
They could have that. From here's the things they got to make sure you can't mention Infinity Stone anywhere in this story. And no one can be named Thanos.
No Thanos.
Or else you're gonna get that cease and desist letter. That'll be promptly sent.
Okay.
Yeah, so be very careful about these IPs.
It's a good storyline.
But yeah, technically, copyright law is interesting depending on the work you make. If it can be slightly similar to stuff.
It's bamboos.
Oh man, you remind me. I mean, I don't know if I should call them out for this, but they used to be really bad with this. They had all those. It was a streaming service it's a big streaming service, but they would have all those like fake movies off of real blockbuster movies. I don't know if they still do that, but
I think a little bit though, yeah.
When Transformers came out, they had something like
Fanformers.
something weird, like changing robots disguise guys, something like that.
You're a mess. You are a mess.
Yeah, something like that. And we're like, wait a minute, what is this guy? What's going on here? And then Lady and the horrendous animal.
Exactly.
Instead of Beauty and the Beast. They had something like that.
They did, yeah. That is funny. I did forget about that. They've slowed down on that.
Yeah, I don't see that as much. I think they finally said, all right, let's actually pay for this stuff.
Hot mess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so careful of that kind of things. Scenario 3. Ryan has written for many comedy shows over the 10 years of his career. To make ends meet, he usually holds another 2 jobs while writing. Now with the WGA strike, he is in desperate need of another job to pay his bills. What should he do to ensure he can afford his life?
Give it all up and live on a boat in the ocean.
Oh, really? He's going to catch fish at the sea? What would he drink, though? Is he going to make
seawater?
You might as well just jump in the water then at that point. He said he's going to drink the seawater.
It all has to come to an end at some point, y'all.
He should go diving, right? I mean, come on. What's he doing?
Isn't Shark Week coming up?
Oh, is that coming up? Oh, yeah, that is, right? Oh, is that considered daytime show? I don't know if that's considered. Yeah, that's interesting.
Those people can't strike on that show.
The sharks will eat them, right? Yes, they can. They can pack it all up while they're in the cage. Say, sorry guys, we're all on strike.
That is
they can pack it all in and say, you got to figure out how to get home.
That's one of the shows that needs to stay in production. You cannot cut the budget there.
You can cut it while filming.
Eat them.
No, the sharks you got to look at them. They're pretty friendly until they're hungry.
Exactly.
So that's all you got to worry about.
Too bad they're hungry 23 hours out of 24.
You don't see that they go up and they pet them on the head and stuff.
Smart. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So sharks aren't
another fear.
that bad.
Yep.
Just don't mess with the great whites.
Yep.
That's what I say.
I would say this is an unfortunate situation that is probably very real for so many people. So this is definitely not a laughing matter. But I would say, listen, again, you have one life to live. And you have got to make the most out of this life. It is for you to decide what this life is going to mean for you and the legacy you live. And if he has been doing this for 10 years and he's still deeply passionate about it, he still loves it, then he's got to find a way to still stay in this industry. And unfortunately, I would recommend that he pursue non-traditional or even traditional work just to sustain himself through the strike, because the worst thing he could do is give up on his dream of being a successful writer in this industry just because times are hard. I think at the end of the day, you still got to live your life. And who says he could walk away from this and not feel like a failure? So he's got to just find a way to make this work.
Yeah, this one, I got a couple of things he can try.
Oh, Lord.
I think they do have to do it jobs, though.
You're a mess.
The first thing is just think about... I mean, I wouldn't suggest this for this guy, but because think about it, he's a comedy show writer.
I don't know where you're going with this, Khalil.
Okay, I'll mention somebody else. T.I. What did T.I. do?
Become a rapper? Oh, God, Khalil.
Why would you go there? What has he done recently?
When I think of T.I.
What else has he done recently?
I refuse to speak on this. Because didn't you learn from when he came from our favorite comedian?
I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. You're insinuating foolishness.
I didn't insinuate anything, T.I. I'm saying he did something different and everybody can do it. He became a stand-up artist.
You could consider me.
See, no, you're saying that.
That's something different.
For people who do not know, T.I. does stand-up comedy. So guess what? This guy writes comedy shows.
Okay, writing is very different than performing, Khalil.
And rapping is very different than performing comedic acts. It's very different, right?
You're a mess. So you're saying he should consider doing his own acts?
Possibly, right?
Oh,
just think about it. Doesn't that go hand in hand?
Is that a lucrative industry? Oh God!
See, first you have to mention that part, though.
Because
why did you mention that?
He needs to pay his bills. He's not trying to fill his free time. You said,
"Oh no, come on!"
Bills.
Yeah.
So you should be suggesting things that make him money, not just spend his time.
But I mean, that's the thing. You gotta just take a leap. What if he ends up liking
Hell of
it?
a leap. Yep.
And he just says, you know what? I'm going to do this full time. I'm going to make this work instead.
Mazel tov.
Because it might change his whole thought process, right?
Exactly.
How many of the comedic writers have actually become comedians?
You know what? If he is anything like our once and great and will always be remembered Paul Mooney, then I love that Paul Mooney
he's
wrote
a writer
for
and
a lot of different people. But
there you go.
Personally,
See?
my favorite was when he performed his work because there was nobody like Paul Mooney. He was out here and just killing the game. So
that's what I'm saying. These comedy writers probably are really funny.
If he's as good as that, then yes, he will be successful. But I bet you if Paul Mooney could be here and not, under past and dead, then he would tell us again. Remember,
Smart.
there are no ghosts, and then secondly,
so not the ghost version.
Yeah. He would also then say, how hard that journey was because he I think was more successful as he went on in
as he
career.
got older. Yeah,
but I don't think when he first started he was rolling in the cash.
No, of course, but as we've seen, they've always been messing with the writers and not paying them, right?
True.
So that's the thing. He was writing the comedian's jokes.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was being compensated that well. That's the thing.
So you're saying he's just going to blow up like Mr. Kevin Hart, eh? Okay.
This guy can. It's an option. I'm not saying he should. This is one option.
I'm curious. Yeah. What's your next one? Yeah.
The second option. I don't know if this is true, but
oh God.
Can the writers of entertainment, can they become technical writers?
In what
and apply
industry?
for that? Any industry.
Excuse you? What did we?
Because so look, if you're able to write for a TV show and you're able to write for film, can you then not write for IBM? You could write up their technical documents.
What is IBM?
Their technical documents, internal documents.
They still need those services.
Technical writers is a real job.
IBM is still a real company.
Yeah, of course they are.
Oh,
they just got destroyed because of Microsoft, but they're still doing stuff.
People
whatever
still
they
work
do.
for them?
Yeah, they do things.
That's incredible. I'm not trying to play or
you're saying that. They still make money though.
Shocked.
They're not. I think they're not as big, but I think they're still
a
$1 billion company.
What was that other one?
Oh,
Burberry or not Burberry? What is the phone? The B.
Oh, BlackBerry.
Yeah, that's
they're
saying
gone.
BlackBerry is still looking for writers.
Did someone buy their name? I think someone might have bought the branding, but no, BlackBerry is gone.
Yeah, that's why.
BlackBerry's not here.
I thought that got folded into something else. Oh, okay.
But I mean, I don't even think anybody bought the BlackBerry branding because it's not worth enough. But they're still around because they have a stock symbol, so somebody purchased the BlackBerry
someone's still
thing.
doing something. Okay, good for
I
them.
think.
And
I might
still
be
publicly held company. Wow.
It might be. I might be getting it confused though. I'm trying to. I don't.
Yeah.
No, I'd have to double check. I can't.
Okay.
But I'm thinking that they are still around. But I might be confusing them with Nokia.
So you're saying could comedy writers now write
technical documents,
handbooks, and
and they can even write internal documents for the employees, right? They can do that. They can draft those.
They could also draft social media posts.
Yeah,
and they could. I mean, yeah, sure.
But social media posts, who's paying them for that?
With the support of copy.ai.
No, I'm not saying to do any of that because that might be against the terms of the contract. Okay. I'm saying go on LinkedIn. Look up technical writer. Can any writer? Could the showrunners do that?
And human resource professionals are going to think these people are telling jokes.
No, they're going to. I don't know. Were they being hired
Their
demand?
cover letter's going to be like, I've spent the last 10 years writing comedy. I figured I'd give this.
You're saying that, but it's like, what if I wrote the original Sopranos? The first 10 episodes.
How does that apply to writing technical?
Because you're a superstar writer.
Cryptocurrency companies,
like that. They can do they can do finance. They can write their documents up.
Trying to apply to do a lunch and learn.
Wait, what?
Or some type of joke event
You
at
think
their holiday party.
why are you limiting yourself to comedy writers though? Oh yeah, it's because of him. I know. I forgot for a minute. I was thinking like other writers too. But yeah, technically we're talking about him. He's a comic writer.
We're talking about people who tell jokes, Khalil.
Oh yeah, but either way, I don't think that's a big difference.
I mean, imagine you're reading through the handbook for a HR, like a employee handbook, and it's like, ha ha ha, this was a joke.
Yeah, see, and that's why they would want you to, because they want to spice up their life. Yes, some people want that in their corporations. It's just too,
like I said,
it's too
maybe
snug.
consider offering to do a special at their holiday.
What special? Wait, so you are saying he should do stand-up even though he's never done it?
Not when you said it.
That's you're saying something different. I don't think anyone's gonna hire someone who's never done it before. A company especially. I don't think that'll ever work in any world. You've never done it before, but let's just give this a go.
Let's give it a go.
Just because you wrote for the biggest stars, I mean, I don't think that would work.
Sounds like a good idea.
I don't think that would work. But I think you can be their technical writer though. Because they'll trust you with their documents because you're good at editing and doing stuff over and over. You can do that. And then you can jazz stuff up and make it lively.
I think these people should apply.
So I think you could do it.
Sure.
Technical writing. You could do a technical writing for ice cream companies, like how do the machines stir the machine.
You think everything is literally one joke after another? Like you don't.
No, I'm just thinking that. I'm trying to
seriousness.
think if I was in a situation, I would do that. I would jump in and say, I'm going to do anything to get the cash.
Everyone and
how's it clowning? To get
all
paid?
day long. It's just a freaking joke.
To get paid? To get paid is a joke?
Everything's a joke.
To get paid is a joke.
Nothing serious.
What I'm just saying.
One thing.
These jobs are open. I told them where to go.
You don't take one thing serious.
All right, you can go on Indeed as well.
I bet you they can.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing is you might not enjoy it as much, right?
Yeah.
But it's a strike. You can't. It's going to be painful.
Gotta pay our bills somehow.
Yeah, it's a messed up thing when you think about it.
And you laughed at my OnlyFans. That might be the best
outcome. Impossible for this. I mean, OnlyFans is not for writers. That's the one thing I'd say you can't do on there.
For anyone who's interested in exploring that platform.
I would say that's the worst thing about the platform. It's not good to writers. It's not really.
You don't know
it's
that.
Not constructive
and also,
to
have you interviewed people on there to make that assumption? Or
I'm just thinking of what the platform offers. It doesn't offer anything that makes reading content better.
What about the we did an episode on that, the ASMR, is it called, where you do the voice stuff and people.
Yeah, but how is a comedy writer good at ASMR?
So
you might
they
even have
can
the
pitch their
equipment for
services to the ASMR talent.
They're gonna write them how to make funny content.
It doesn't have to just be
ASMR is not
funny,
supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be soothing and healing and sexy, maybe.
Sure.
Those only things.
Sexy, maybe.
Yeah. I'm just saying the types of thing it could do. Not all at the same time. Not all at the same time, though. No, not all at the same time. They're different.
Soothing and sexy at the same time.
No, I said.
Yes.
It's got to be soothing, it's got to be calming, and it may be sexy, but not all at the same time. See, all those are separate things you can do with ASMR.
All of those things, and then maybe put a little joke at the end.
No, that's horrifying because you're you're listening. Oh, a joke, and then you're taken out.
Oh, that's the sound they make too.
Yeah, a joke is taking me out of my state because you know what it is. It's kind of like you're vibing to this thing. You're like listening to your lo-fi beats. And then someone hits you on the head with a baseball, right? I mean, do you want that to happen? Nobody wants that. That's what you're suggesting. Why would you do it?
I can't do this anymore. I cannot.
Yeah, because you're trying to mess up people's industries.
Exactly.
OnlyFans is not for writers. I mean, I want to hear someone tell me that. They're an author on OnlyFans.
Anyone
it makes
at
no
WokeNFree
sense.
Nation, if you happen to be on OnlyFans and or consume
As a
content who's a writer on the platform, please share that in the comments so that we can further explore if that is a needed subject on the podcast.
It doesn't lend itself well to that. It doesn't have a reading app.
The fact that you're going so hard is hilarious.
Yeah, they're better off getting their book on Kindle, right? And publishing through Amazon. It doesn't. I don't see how OnlyFans would make any sense for an author. I can't see that. Even the other, and I'm saying that, but Patreon and some of the other sites like that. I don't know if it doesn't lend itself to that. You could just make a website, and what does OnlyFans give you that the other? Are they going to promote your writing over the other people? Like
I said, they could try to promote their services to the people on the platform as a back end writer,
the comedy writers promoting to the people at OnlyFans. Because, of course, OnlyFans is all about comedy. That's all it's about.
I think there's a space for everything.
It's a comedy platform, obviously. So.
And so is this. So,
Originally it didn't start off as what it was. That's what's funny. It actually was. It was a PG kind of site. It wasn't.
And it went different. Yeah.
It changed once other people hopped on, but
Listen,
it was originally not.
Those people are making buku money, so do your thing, honey.
Yeah, it didn't originally have the connotation it has nowadays. When people are like, oh, you got that OnlyFans? I see you. It used to not be like that. It used to be like just a regular fan site. It used to be literally a fan site.
And people need to focus. Do you, right? If you're not for that life, then that's not for you. But let people live, and if people want to consume that content, let them live. Everybody needs to let everybody live.
Here's another option. I just thought of this.
Oh God, I can't even hear
I don't think it's a real option. I'm just saying it. Just you never know, because you got to throw those Hail Marys. Just get this. What if you ask somebody on production staff if you can live with them for a while until the strike ends? I'm just saying, I don't know if it's going to work.
What if they're both on strike?
No, but some of these people got cash, right? They got these
and they
$1 million
also have
mansions
space to allow people to live in their property.
Maybe just ask, right? What if go to the top exec?
See, I thought you were going to go to the direction of
I'm
maybe
just saying,
they would
sometimes
be
it
like Uber drivers or
oh, and then even at that, I mean, man, that's not
like taking double down on the gig economy.
But you know what's cool with this is a whole other thing. But if you go through Uber, they do have like a thing where they'll actually help you finance a car. So it could be an option.
This a joke?
It's not a joke, but I'm saying it's like actually it's an actual real proposition. Like even if it's because I'm saying this guy he needs another job. If you got Uber, do you really want to be paying for your car to try to Uber? But Uber will help you actually buy a new car and drive people around.
Yeah, but who's paying the monthly payment? Is it not you?
I haven't looked into the program enough. I don't know enough about it. But it might. I think whatever it is, it helps you out though. It's less than you just financing a car on your own. Yeah. Okay. So Uber could be an option. Is all I'm saying. Like it doesn't have to cost them that much if he doesn't want to use his own car. If he doesn't have a car, Uber could be an option. But also just the trying to get on someone else's couch. I think that's an option as well instead of getting another job. Because then if he's on someone else's couch, he still can write. And then he doesn't have to waste time doing all these other stuff. He's got to go to OnlyFans and not get paid. Doesn't make any sense. He can just sit on someone's couch, write as he likes to do. He could get
depressing me.
His cappuccinos, whatever he drinks.
Cappuccinos.
Yeah, whatever he drinks.
You are judgmental and foolish.
No, I'm just saying, whatever you need, you can do it.
At that time again, it's coming to the end of our 307th episode of WokeNFree. Quite the episode discussing actors and writers on strike. What does this mean for your favorite shows? Khalil?
It means come back next week for the new WokeNFree Wednesday episode. And make sure you follow us on social media to follow along the conversation. And make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
Perfect. And if you also have topic ideas, there was a lot that was discussed in this episode. We always welcome more. Best way to reach us is to contact us on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com. And for social media, again, we'd love for you to follow and join our conversations on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokenFree. And all sponsorship and collaboration queries should be directed to our Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Till next time.